Hi everybody. Hello. Today we're talking about all of my tricks to curb those cravings. So high sugar, high carb, we're gonna talk about all of it and how do we get you guys optimally healthy and not giving in to all of those cravings. So I'm gonna start letting you guys come on. Ooh, I'm gonna adjust my camera here, sorry. Hi everybody, hello. Happy Saturday. We're talking about cravings and how do we control those today. So that's the topic for today. I'm gonna let you guys start coming on. Oh my gosh, you guys, I am exhausted today. So pardon any bags that you are seeing. It's my daughter's bridal shower today. So lots of planning going on with that. Okay, everybody, hello. We are talking about cravings today. And I've had this request a lot. How do you bypass those, when you're tempted to have those potato chips or those chocolates, what do you do? And so that's what we're gonna talk about today. Everybody, we do have a giveaway today. This is one of my products. This is a fiber lean powder. So if you want to be in the drawing for this, I'm gonna give away, I think, like 3 of these. You can start by inviting your friends, your 3 friends right there. This is a new product. It's actually not a new product by Live Young, but it's one that I am putting out there along with a lot of different, I've revamped my whole supplement line. So I'm going to be talking about that on a later time. But today is all about how do you stop the cycle of the sugar cravings and the high carb cravings, right? So I'm going to give you a couple of my tips that I've been doing for, oh my gosh, 30 plus years. I'm 55 right now. I'm going to adjust you guys a little bit. I'm 55. So I've been doing this kind of stuff for a very long time. I am a holistic nutrition and health coach. I always get the worst night's cravings. Okay, you guys, I've been asked about this subject so many times. And so, everybody is looking for those dopamine rushes, right? Whether it's in our red wine or our potato chips or our chocolates, we're looking for those. And so really kind of my first line of defense is, no, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm a gerontologist. So I'm a gerontologist, I have graduate degrees in gerontology as well as psychology. I'm a holistic nutrition and health coach certified from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York. I'm a 500-hour yoga instructor. So there's a lot that goes into being a healthy aging coach, but that's what my certifications are in. So I do have a lot of knowledge in the field of nutrition because I do have that certification, and that's also covered a lot at USC in the psychology department. Hi everybody, hello. Okay, so first, because I work a lot with the psychological aspect of cravings and weight loss. First of all, I think that the number one thing that we have to be aware of is that there are many different reasons why we eat, right? We're not just eating for sustenance. We're not just eating to be able to have energy and have our body moving forward. There is emotional eating, and then there is the physiological eating, right? What do we need for all of our bodily functions to work? And then why are we reaching for things when we're already full that are expanding our waistlines, right? So the psychology of this is really interesting because there are multiple ways that we feed our bodies, right? It's not just with food. So if you ever had a bad work day or you're in an argument with a friend or a family member or something like that, and your immediate go-to is, well, I'm going to have that glass of wine. Or, well, I'm having a bad day, I'm going to sit down on the couch with a bag of Doritos. Like there are people, and I'm no exception, that when in times of high stress, you want to reach for those comfort foods that affect our hormones, stepmom, you're my son-in-law, that affects our hormones in our brain. So dopamine, serotonin, all of those light up with high sugar, high carbs, ultra processed foods, right? The foods that we cannot get from single ingredients. It's ones that we cannot make in the kitchen ourselves. And it's those type of foods that have the most draw and pull to us. So I want to talk about first, when you have that craving to reach for, these are my favorite, to be honest with you, I love them. But to have those high sugar, high fat foods, those comfort foods, to stop yourself and think for a second, am I really hungry, or am I feeding something else? Am I feeding an emotional hunger that I'm lacking in my everyday life? So am I missing affection from my husband or from my loved one? What's going on with work? Are my relationships in my workplace not something that are ideal for me? Am I not sleeping enough? Am I not exercising enough? What else is my body craving to be fed that I'm substituting with food? Because that food, those highly processed, highly sugar foods, those do play a role in our serotonin and our dopamine receptors. So it's those things that are like lighting up and giving us those joy. Well, it's only going to circle back around. It circles back around to, then you feel like shit about yourself, then you throw in the towel, and then you're like, once you've gotten to this amount on your potato chips that you love, you're like, I'm just going to eat the whole thing. Love, you're looking from a holistically and psychological. Yeah, because there are so many different ways that we feed ourselves. And when we're searching, if we're full, we're not really hungry. It's one thing if you deprive yourself to the point where you're starving, and then the things that are available to you are those high sugar, high fats. It's gonna make me, let me hold on, send you the Neverlands and leave you there. Okay, I didn't understand what that said. So sorry, I'm gonna try to scroll up, but I do have astigmatism in my eyes, so sometimes I can't get to all the questions. But just, you guys let me know if there's something else I haven't answered. Hi, Tina. If there's something else I haven't answered, just ask it again. I did the other day, ate until more than I was full because I already ate the ravioli. Yes. So why is it that when we get down to this much, we're like, fuck it, let's just eat the rest. It's not that much difference. And that's the throwing in the towel mentality. And so I'm going to give you some tricks to deal with that as well. But the first step, I think, when you're at that point where you're like, I'm going to lose it, I'm going to totally eat this right now. When you're at that point, to step back for a second and just ask yourself, am I really hungry? And what am I lacking in my life that is then making me reach for food? So I want you to look at your relationships. I want you to look at how much sleep you're having, because if you're sleep deprived, you're going to be making really poor choices in food. You just are. You're that whole filter of, what is good for me goes out the window when you're sleep deprived, and you're looking for things to make you feel better, which are those dopamine type of foods that stimulate that, and those are always ultra processed sugar and carbs. Okay, so look at it. What you're lacking in your life. Are you lacking inspiration and learning new things? Are you lacking love in your life? Are you lacking affection? Are you unhappy with your job? Are you unhappy with your spouse? Are you unhappy in that you're creatively stifled? There's a lot of different things that play into why are you dealing with trauma? Are you eating based on trauma? So there's a lot of things that go into what we're feeding our body. So the first line of defense is stop and ask yourself, what am I truly wanting? Am I looking for actual sustenance? Am I looking for that? Or am I looking to fill a void in something else? That's number one. Okay, so then if you're going to stop yourself and ask yourself, what am I looking for? Is this really what I'm looking for? The second line of defense for me is water, because we oftentimes mistake hunger for water, right? We think that we're hungry. The signals get a little crossed. We think that we're craving food when actually we're dehydrated. So before you do anything, let's say you've gotten the bag out, right? You're ready to consume. These are one of my cheat foods. I love these. I have no affiliation, but I love them. Even though they say air fried, they're just as terrible for you as regular potato chips because they still use the oil and then they double fry them. So this is, don't buy this in terms of like, oh, this is a healthy snack. It's not, it's just a snack. But these are this is my favorite snack, along with these, which are like terrible for you, but man, are they good. So those are my kind of go-tos. And before I do that, right, I get the bag. I'm like, okay, I want to be able to just have this right now. Drink a full glass of water first. Drink a full glass of water, get on your phone, set the timer for 15 minutes. Don't do anything until you've drank a full glass of water. And then you can reassess the situation and think like, okay, do I really want that? Am I really hungry for that? Then your stomach will end up catching up with your brain and you'll figure that out. But regardless, the water's not gonna hurt you and it's gonna make you eat a lot less of this because you're also filling up your stomach. A second thing that I do, this is why I brought this product out, and this is a giveaway. I'm gonna give this away for 3 different people, so make sure you invite your 3 people with that little send button right there. This is the Live Young Fiber Lean, and right now I'm gonna show you how this works. I think you guys can see this. Pardon my messy kitchen, but I think you guys can see this. I'm gonna put 2 little of these scoops in here, and I'm gonna show you how this fills your stomach up. So we're gonna let this kind of sit. So that's 2 little tiny not microscopic, but little mini scoops. And then I'm gonna stir this up. So fiber is our friend, folks. I've been saying this for years. When you're eating things like this, there's no fiber in this. There's no fiber in chocolates. I mean, the fiber in here, if there is any, it's very negligible. I can't even see it, doesn't even say total fibers. 1 gram, it's nothing. There's nothing in this. So basically, when you're eating stuff that's ultra processed, you're lacking the fiber. Think of it as if you're drinking orange juice, right? As opposed to eating the actual orange. When you're drinking orange juice, there's nothing that helps to slow down the way that juice hits your bloodstream. So your pancreas is overwhelmed with the juice, it spits it out, and it processes it, and it puts you end up storing it as belly fat around your midsection. When you've got a big belly, that usually indicates to me that you're having too much sugar in your diet. So if you're having orange juice as opposed to the orange, your body processes that very, very similar to like an orange crush soda, to be honest with you. You get a little bit of vitamin C with the orange juice, but you're not getting the benefit of the fiber. So what I like to do is add, now you can see that this is already starting to thicken up. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna let this kind of sit for a little while. I wanna show you what this does in your stomach. So before you grab the sugary snack, you drink your full glass of water. After you do the full glass of water, you can either do one of 2 things. You can take a couple fiber pills to let the fiber fill your body up. You can drink, what I did with this product is I combined water with fiber. See, it's already starting to get down here, if you can see it. I'm gonna show you the process of how this works. But what this does is it crowds out, oh my God, eating all the Skittles in the world. I hope not during this live, because that would be, well, I have some tricks. Once you've fallen down that hole and you have determined that you are eating the whole bag or you've eaten a whole thing of Skittles, I have something that will help you to slow down the way that sugar hits your bloodstream, so you'll have a lot less likely chance of that being stored as fat. So fiber is our friend. We want to add fiber to everything that we do when we're talking about junk food, okay? So we're talking about junk food. You want to eat you want to have the glass of water. You want to incorporate fiber in there. Now you can always use a fiber supplement like this, or you can eat something that is fiber rich. So let's say, for example, you decide, I'm going to eat a very large piece of cake. This is what I'm going to do. I have a craving for it. It's my favorite cake. This is it. Eat a piece of celery first, just plain celery, and let's see how much of that cake that you eat. I'm not saying deprive yourself, because when you deprive yourself of something that you love, it's just going to, it's going to build up, and then you're going to, you're just going to crash, and you're going to end up eating a lot of it. And that's what happens to me. I can just think of that in a personal way. If I deprive myself of anything and I say, I'm not going to have chocolate for a month, or I'm not going to do this, that it just kind of plays with your brain. So my thought is, have the water first, have the fiber first, right? And then if you happen to find yourself face down in a bag of chips, binge watching Netflix, and you're at the bottom, what do you do then, right? What happens then? It's the same concept of slowing down the way that the sugar hits your bloodstream. So you want to add fiber at that point. A lot of people, did you start at the top? I'm not sure what that means, but a lot of people, when you eat something bad and you know you've eaten something bad, our knee-jerk reaction is to not eat anything. Oh, I'm going to take it easy the next day. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. Either that, or you're going to finish the whole thing off. And then, oh my God, wait, I have to go for this. I have to read this. Oh my God, came in at the wrong live, sitting here eating Cheetos and drinking a Pepsi. Oh, you came in at the right live, because I'm going to tell you exactly how you can slow down the way that all of that junk is going to hit your bloodstream. And instead of just going, okay, I've listened to this live, I'm going to back off, now I'm not going to eat for a couple of days. Right when you get done with that Pepsi and you get done with that Cheetos, eat some fiber. Eat something that's fiber rich, whether that's a piece of celery, whether that's a fiber, a fiber supplement, or make yourself a salad. Anytime that you're adding fiber to a bunch of junk food that you just added to your stomach, I want you to think of the difference between eating an orange and eating and drinking straight orange juice with no pulp. The orange juice is no better, except for vitamin-wise, than an orange crush soda. Table sugar, all of this, juices are terrible for you in terms of how your body processes it and how it stores it as fat. So fiber is our friend. Cut it off at the pass. If you find yourself where you've messed up and you've eaten a bunch of junk food, immediately drink water, immediately add fiber to your diet. Okay, now that can be fiber pills, that can be a fiber supplement, it can be with real food. Either way, you want to slow down the way that the fiber hits the bloodstream, because if the fiber hits the bloodstream in a quick way, it's way more likely to be stored as fat, right? So think of it between an orange and orange juice. It's that same concept. We want to add the fiber to slow down the way that yes, carrot juice is the same way. I'm sorry, carrot juice has a lot of vitamin A, but if you're wanting to have optimal health, eat the carrot. Eat the carrot, okay? How do I get a copy of your at-home treatment schedule? If you're asking about the at-home skincare gadget protocol, you can DM me the word protocol, and that will send you a link that will have you sign up for the newsletter. And then once you sign up for the newsletter, it's automatically given in your inbox. Make sure you check your spam with that, okay? Okay, so we're moving on. If you are one that you've just got high sugar cravings, you guys, sugar is in everything. I want to just keep showing you as this. Look, do you see this? That's fiber. This is what I do before I decide I want to eat something that's really, if my cravings are out of control, I'll fill this with water. I'll add 2 scoops of the fiber lean. If you're interested in the supplements, you guys, or the fiber lean, just DM me supplements. I have my whole supplements, my whole healthy aging supplements and next level supplements launching this week. So if you're interested in any of the supplements, then DM me supplements and I'll give you those links so you can check them out. G Gilardi says, Jean Gilardi says, I get cravings at night. I get that, but I want you to try before. I'm never going to tell you guys, don't eat what you love. I'm never going to tell you that. The concept is to crowd out the bad, okay? So you're adding food. I'm sorry. it's a big day over here because it's my daughter's bridal shower. So you're going to have, my daughter's going to come in a while. The dogs are going to be barking. It's going to be a real shit show, but that's okay. We're just going to keep going. So the concept is to crowd out the bad, right? Crowd out the bad. So when you're choosing, I'm going to give you a simple example. When you're choosing between a plain M&M and a peanut M&M, the fiber in the peanut is going to be better because it's going to slow down the way the peanut M&M, the sugar hits your bloodstream. That's the concept with the fiber, right? That's a simple way for you guys to think about that. Fiber is your friend, keep adding it in there. And then if you get these cravings at night, you want to crowd them out. So you start with the water. Oh, Sarah said I was there, so proud of Kaylee. That's my daughter, Kaylee. So you want to crowd it out with the water. You want to add fiber that's going to fill up your stomach, and then wait 15 minutes. If you still feel like that sugary snack, that high carb processed snack, then have it. Go ahead and have it. It's going to crowd out and you're going to end up eating a lot less. I want to just briefly go back to the emotional eating because I saw a question that came up. Can you personally DM me a video for real of how you feel? I'm not sure what that means. So I want to go back on the emotional eating for just a second, and I want to give you guys a little bit of insight into the psychology behind that, okay? Because I think a lot of times we give ourselves permission for bad behavior, right? You ever had a bad day at work? You're having trouble with the boss, you're fighting with somebody, and you just can't wait to have that glass of wine, right? And sometimes we could extend the drama in our lives with work, with relationships, with whatever. We can extend that drama in our lives so that we have permission to behave badly. So, and make poor choices because we deserve it, because we're going through a tough time. If every time you had a bad day at work, you had to come home and instead of wine or highly processed food, you had to eat plain romaine lettuce until that bad feeling went away, I guarantee you that bad feeling is not going to last as long as when you're sitting with a glass of wine and you're sitting with all of your junk food huddled around you. Oh, poor me, oh, poor me. Oh, poor me while you're eating celery, plain. Let's see how long you're in that oh, poor me state, right? So we oftentimes, it's this cycle where we give ourselves permission for bad behavior, right? Okay, so that's the second one, or that's actually the third one. If you are somebody that really craves salt, you're like, I don't know what it is, but I'm craving salt right now. I suggest getting your full vitamin panels. You might be actually lacking in sodium. But one of the things that I do, because I do crave potato chips a lot, is you take a grapefruit, cut it in half, squeeze it in a glass of water, drink the whole glass of water, wait 15 minutes. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of a taste of something that tricks our body into thinking that it's sugar, but it's really not. It's just grapefruit, and grapefruit actually has a negative effect on how you store your fat. So it kind of helps inhibit the fat storage. So even if you decide, listen, I'm going to have that chocolate, you can eat a pear first. So if you eat a pear, it still kind of tricks the taste buds into thinking, I'm getting something super sweet. You have the fiber, you have the bulk in your stomach, drink a glass of water, let's see how much chocolate you eat. The same thing with salt. If you're really craving salty stuff, have a glass of water, squeeze a half a grapefruit in the glass of water, drink the whole thing. If you're still thinking, I don't know about this, pop a little bit of fiber, wait 15 minutes. I guarantee you, if nothing else, you're going to eat about half of what you normally would eat. So it's crowding out the bad. It's not denying you, it's crowding out the bad, okay? Another thing that you can do is eat raw almonds. So raw almonds are, for me, a staple in my diet, because I'm not talking roasted, salted, anything like that, but what I'm talking about, raw almonds. And what that does is it helps to regulate the blood sugar level. So it gives you fiber, you're chewing it, It fills your stomach up. And so if you have a bit of raw almonds, you can replace the fiber in like a supplement with raw almonds. So big glass of water, either with grapefruit juice in it. If you're doing something salty, some fiber like raw almonds, or a fiber supplement. Look at this. A fiber supplement to help fill the stomach up. Really great for your microbiome anyways. And that kind of helps to at least fill your stomach up. You're gonna get a lot less of this. So the concept is crowding out the bad, but also realizing, why am I eating in the first place? Am I really hungry? And sometimes you need to step away from that environment to be able to figure that part out as well. And so a lot of times I'll tell clients, get outside, go exercise for a little bit, go take a walk, drink a big glass of water, get out of the house. Now there's the whole idea of don't have it in the house in the first place, but if a lot of us have families, we've got kids, there's, our spouses or our significant others have, we can't dictate what everybody else around us is eating, but we can control what we're eating. And a lot of times it's not just deprive, because that to me is a ticking time bomb and something that somebody's not really going to adhere to, but it's crowding out. It's crowding out. If you're really hungry, and you have an option of eating a salad or this, eat the salad first and then really determine, am I really hungry? Or even have that have that thought process of, am I really hungry? Would I eat a piece of celery right now? I'm so hungry. And the answer is probably no, right? Probably no. So when you're looking at things like this, think of that first. Am I really hungry, or what am I searching for? What else is my body needing? Am I lacking sleep? Am I lacking peace? Have I not meditated? Have I not grounded? What's going on with me internally, with my relationships, that is causing me to reach for things like high processed foods as opposed to stuff that's nutrient dense, that's actually good for us? Artificial sweeteners. I know somebody had just said that they were drinking a Pepsi. Artificial sweeteners in my own personal life, I don't do them, because I think that what it does is it's not really training your taste buds to do without sugar. If you have, somebody says, I tried the mushroom coffee you recommended, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. The energy level was phenomenal. Yes. Yes. Okay. If you guys are interested in the mushroom coffee, I do an intermittent fasting every day. I've been doing it for 30 plus years, where I don't have breakfast. And I do a 16-hour fast, and it helps with autophagy, which is, that cellular cleanup of stuff. And I break my fast with a mushroom coffee. So if you're interested in the mushroom coffee, just DM me the word mushroom and I'll give you that link, because that link is not on my link tree. Okay, I'm gonna try to answer some questions, but I do have a few more tips I wanna get through as well. Oh, we're only halfway done, hold on. It just reminded me that I had my mushroom coffee here. Okay, so the change of scenery, I think, is super important. If you live in a house where there are people in your home that are eating the high junk food, highly processed stuff, and it's there, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to reach for that. Drink your glass of water, incorporate fiber, get out of the house, right? Get out of the house and take a little bit of a walk. Change that scenery, and then wait, and then make sure that you're like, am I really hungry? Reassess the situation. You will have just had fiber. You will have just had fiber. You will just have water. You're waiting for your stomach to tell your brain whether or not you're really hungry. Assess whether or not that hunger and those cravings are coming from other things that you're missing in your life. There's a lot of different ways we feed our souls and we feed our body, and oftentimes we mistake that with food. So what are we lacking? I want you guys to think about all of that. Another thing that I do is, when you're looking at, chocolates and sweets and ice creams and things like that, to have like a mint gum or to go and brush your teeth makes a giant difference. Because if you've ever had chocolate after freshly brushed teeth, it's not enjoyable. And sometimes when you have that clean mouth, you just drank your water, you just popped a little fiber pills, you've stepped away from the kitchen, go brush your teeth. To come back down, that takes a lot of you have to be present in that moment and make that decision with a freshly brushed mouth to then go, okay, I'm going to add something sweet in there because I want it that much. Go through these things. I like your face too. Okay, I know I missed a bunch of questions, so I'm going to try to, before I go on, because I do have like a couple different things. What fiber pills do you recommend? This is my own brand. I love this brand because I worked with a company. Sorry, 1 second. I got a little frog in my throat. I've not been sleeping well, you guys. There's a lot of stuff coming up with my daughter's wedding, so it's been a little bit much. This is my brand of fiber. I like it because it's really clean. It's with a company called Zymogen. It's my own brand. I've had this brand and this fiber for probably, I want to say 5 years, but I'm revamping my whole supplement line and coming out with it next week. But even just like if you go to like CVS, a CVS or a Rite Aid brand of fiber pills, I use that as well if in a pinch, but I really like this because you mix it with water. So you're getting the fiber and the water at the same time. So this has kind of been my secret weapon when I think like, I shouldn't be eating that. I know I'm emotionally eating. I'm eating for some other reason. I need to just figure this out. Let me just have a glass of water with some fiber in it, and then I'm gonna wait for 15 minutes. Can you put grapefruit juice in the water and supplement? Yes, this to me is a trick if you are craving salty things. If I crave sweet things, I like to eat like a pear, because a pear, ooh, here comes the dogs. Because a pear is sweet, but if you're eating the skin, you're eating the flesh of that pear, you're not juicing it, you're getting fiber, you're getting a little bit of a sweet tooth, your taste buds are being tickled by that sweetness, and then you can drink the water and wait. If you are somebody that is craving salty, I like to use a grapefruit for that. So I cut it in half, I squeeze it in water, and then drink that whole thing of water, and sometimes then I'll add the dogs are gonna go nuts. Then I'll add a little bit of fiber and then wait. So that's how I kind of manage all of the salty cravings. So let me see if I can answer a few questions, and then I wanna get into like the lesser of two evils. Is pink animal cookies? Oh my God, I love animal cookies, you guys. It's like one of those things, like those childhood things where, those frosted animal cookies. There are times when you do give in, right? So there are times when I go to my mom's house and my mom still thinks it's such a nice thing to buy me those frosted animal cookies that have all kinds of dye and all kinds of preservatives, and they're not good for you at all, but still, I indulge and I'll have some animal cookies, and immediately I will have a handful of raw almonds, because the almonds and the fiber in the almonds are going to slow down the way that the sugar hits my bloodstream, and I have a far less chance of it being stored as fat. So again, Sarah, with that animal cookie thing, because Sarah knows me, that's actually my niece. With the animal cookie things, or with any kind of cookies or crackers or anything like that, when you eat them, I don't want you guys to beat yourself up and just polish off the bag, because I know that happens far too often. You've gotten down to like a half a pint of the, Ben & Jerry's, cherry Garcia, whatever ice cream, which might be your favorite, and you're like, screw it, I'm just gonna finish this off. And so when you do that, when those times happens, because we're humans and we're all looking for dopamine, right? But we're humans, and when it happens, I don't want you to beat yourself up. It happens to everybody, and now is when you have to jump into action. So you just consumed these terrible things. You did the wrong move. Jump into action. Don't just sit there and go like, poor me, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Might as well, my diet's screwed. Might as well just keep eating. Eat, but eat the right things right afterwards. So high fiber, water, a salad, a handful of raw almonds I have found has been the easiest thing, because a handful of raw almonds They're accessible. You can take them on the go. You can have them in the car. I have raw almonds in almost every bag that I have. I have them in the glove box. I have them in the drawer, because if you do end up eating something sweet or something, it's the easiest way to fill your stomach up and slow down the way that the sugar hits your bloodstream. How many meals a day while fasting? I have 2 meals a day. I have lunch and dinner. I'm not a giant snacker, but sometimes while I'm cooking, I'll have a little bit of stuff, while it's usually I have 2 meals a day. Whoever, you guys need to all you weirdos on here, come on. This is not the space for you, okay? And I hope you guys don't give them any oxygen. That's the only thing that I'm going to say about people that find the need to hide behind social media and make either crude comments or ridiculous comments. It really just shows who you are on the inside, and that's not really great. And I wish you love and light, because obviously you need that in your life, okay? Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go back. What should be your liquid diet if you're dealing with acne? I'm not a big liquid diet person, you guys. I think that we need the fiber. So you'll never see me, going to a juice store. It's very rare that I now have smoothies, because I'd rather use my whole digestive system in chewing, in all of that, instead of bypassing it. We're not children that need our food, ground up. So although yes, sometimes I will have a smoothie, it's not a staple in my diet, because our digestion starts with our teeth, okay? So let me see if there's anything else. I'm gonna just keep scrolling. You guys, I am gonna be live tomorrow, and I'm gonna be doing a demo of something. So microneedling or radio frequency or something like that. And those demos on Sundays, remember, at 11, get posted to my Instagram club. So if you haven't joined the Instagram club and you've got questions here that I can't seem to get to, and DMs that, gosh, if you guys saw my DM box, it's insane. So please don't be offended if I can't answer your questions in DM. There's an automated system that will just put join the club for $4.99. If you do that, you can ask me all the questions you want on the club. I do answer all the questions within 24 hours. And then you can always cancel after that, okay? But get all your questions answered. Not a lot of people, or not everybody, can afford a one-on-one session with me. Because that is an hour long, and those do run, those are expensive. But if you join the club, it's a support way for people to be able to ask the questions. I answer them within 24 hours. And so that's a way as well. If I don't get to your questions. Okay. I'm going to have to scroll back a lot. Okay. What about stevia? I personally do not do stevia, and it's because even though it's natural, I don't think that we really know the full effect of all artificial sweeteners, even though that's a natural one, and what that does to our taste buds in terms of craving other sweets. So I tend to stay away from all sweeteners and just use real food, not processed, because stevia is processed. Remember, you're extracting that even from a real food. I tend to use things like, if I'm craving sweets, I'll use a pear or some sort of fruit that I'm having to eat. If I'm craving salts, I will either just use regular salt, salt my food a little bit more, or use grapefruit. So I tend to do that. When you're adding sweeteners to things, I think it really tricks your brain into wanting that sweetness, right? Because that it also works on the dopamine pathways. So it's not necessarily metabolically, you could have a stevia and metabolically you're fine. But what does that do to your dopamine pathways that are expecting something sweet? Okay, so you have to think about it that way, and really be in tune with your body. If you're using stevia on a regular basis, think about what does that do in terms of the anticipation of a sweet diet from then on out. So even though metabolically it could have 0 calories, you got to think about what that does to your mindset. So that's my personal opinion about that. Is I want to make sure that I'm not setting myself up for cravings, more things. And they're finding this stuff with diet sodas. Diet Coke, they're saying, is, not only is it full of chemicals. And listen, I grew up on Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke. But not only is it full of chemicals, but your body doesn't react to it the way the 0 calories that we think that it does. So it does kind of instigate this whole roller coaster of wanting something sweet and needing something sweet daily. So you got to be careful of that. Hi, everybody who's just joining. If you want to be in the drawing for this Fiberline, I'm going to show you guys what it is now. I mixed this with water. Now I want you to look at this. This is what happens to the fiber mixed with water in your body. So think about the space that this takes up in your stomach. Right? So before you, and listen, this is great for your whole digestive tract. So anytime that I have major cravings for high processed carbs or sugar, this is my go-to. I mix 2 tablespoons of this in water and I wait 15 minutes. So if you want to be in the drawing, make sure that you've invited your 3 people and in that little, thing right there. And then when I post it to my site, you tag 3 more people. Try to tag them in different posts, because when you do, it increases your chances to be a winner in this. So, okay, let me see if there was anything else. I already went over the don't beat yourself up thing. If you find yourself face first in a bag of Oreos, you want to add the fiber. So that's when just like, instead of going, oh shit, I just did this, go, oh shit, I just did this. Let me eat a salad. Let me have a handful of raw nuts. You want to slow that all down. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to scroll back. So I will be live, you guys. I will be live tomorrow. Can you put you that? I already got all that. How many meals do you have when fasting? Did that. You didn't see I don't know what that means. Okay, if there's anything else, you guys, just add it here, because I'm going to be a little bit more conscious of questions coming in. Yeah, fiber in water. There's no fiber in water, but you can add fiber to water, or you can take a fiber pill, and a giant glass of water. And you can also, eat fiber. Like if you're really, really hungry, then, eat a piece of celery and let's see how hungry you really are. Or is it emotional eating? And that's a really good determination of what that is. So if it's emotional eating, you would know if you're like, well, I'm starving. I'm really hungry. Should I eat this celery? If your answer is no, you're not hungry. You're not starving. You don't need this stuff. This is emotional eating. This is dopamine seeking food, okay? Dopamine seeking food. That's when you have to realize, what else am I seeking? Because I'm not hungry. So what am I seeking? What other ways can I have that feel-good hormone? And is that exercise? Is that going out for a walk? Is that making sure, what else am I missing? Am I fighting with my siblings? Am I having, what's going on with me that I'm really needing this? And if you're in that funk after work or after whatever, like I've had a bad day, I'm going to down this bottle of wine, or I'm going to eat this whole thing of potato chips. Switch those foods and those cheat things and those things that are bad for you to raw romaine lettuce or celery. And let's see how much you stay in that funk, right? Because we are giving ourselves permission to behave badly. We're giving ourselves permission to behave badly. That's the psychology of it. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the other thing, let's see what there is. Yeah, that was it basically. Oh, indulge in a healthier version. So if let's say for example, you're one that like you love to have a candy bar every day, right? You love to have a candy bar every day. Just make that swap to where you might be having chocolate covered almonds. So you're still getting the sweet, but you're having the fiber from the almonds. So you can try to make that switch so that you're having a little bit of a healthier. I'm now craving a pear. Great. Sugar on your body. I hope this, okay, I don't know what that means. What time is the best to eat raw almonds, morning or evening? It depends on if you're doing intermittent fasting. So I always have raw almonds like everywhere. It's just when you're feeling a craving and you want to hit that, you want to, kind of hit that, get that off at the pass. You want to grab those raw almonds. And in addition, if you've fallen and you're on the couch with a thing of potato chips and you're just like, oh, I just mindfully put that in as I'm stressing about something else, grab the raw almonds, because the raw almonds not only add fiber, add volume to your stomach, and will slow down the way that sugar or highly processed foods hit your bloodstream. So not only does it do that, but it helps to regulate your blood sugar level. So both things, it's hitting it on both different directions, which is why my go-to is always raw almonds. Okay, I just finished mindful eating retreat for a small group of women. We had such a wonderful time. I love that. It's all about mindful eating, you guys. If we could just stop ourselves before we do this, before we reach for that, and ask ourselves, why are we reaching for that when we know we're not hungry? What is it that's doing that? What are we lacking in our life? What are we not getting filled up on that we're then saying, oh, I need this even though I'm not hungry? And sometimes it's just like, that's the way that your taste buds are. You're in this sugar kind of cycle. And how do we break that? Fiber, water, change the temperature of the room, meaning get outside, exercise, more sleep. All of these things help. And then you're adding the fiber right before. So if you know you're about to fall, oh, I can see this coming. I've had a bad day. I can see this coming. This is what's going to happen. Just right before it happens, let's see how hungry you are. Drink a full glass of water. Are you really thirsty? Add some fiber. Bulk that stomach up. Am I really hungry? Let's wait 15 minutes and see. A lot of times that will pass. Okay. You guys, sometimes there's some weirdos on here. Okay, so is there anything else that you guys want to ask? Now is the time. I think I went through everything. If you want to be in the drawing, make sure you invite your 3 people. Let me see what this question was here. What time is the best time to eat almonds? Yeah, that part doesn't really matter. It matters, are you doing it at a time to either, stop the cravings and fill your stomach up and really give your brain a little bit of time to determine, I have a problem with sweet coffee, what should I do? You can start by reducing that in half, right? So whatever sugar you're using, switch from that sugar to stevia first of all. And I know we talked about stevia earlier, but should switch to the stevia first of all, and then start cutting back slowly. Use a half a thing, use a quarter of a thing. Cut back until you realize, oh, do I really need that? And it's a process. I don't count my calories. Somebody asked how many calories I have a day. I don't count my calories. Can you swap the fiber for protein? Is that better? Not necessarily. And the reason why I don't like swapping the fiber for protein is because you can do fiber without calories, right? You could do fiber without calories. A fiber pill, a fiber like this, you can do without calories. When you're adding protein, you're doing it in a couple different ways. You're adding a food that is high in protein, like chicken breast, which is fine. Or you're reaching for like a protein bar, which is a glorified candy bar, in my opinion. I'm sorry, but it is. It's not doing anything to help your cravings. And also, I think that what we're in the middle of, and I've touched on this before, and I'm going to have a lot of people not like me here, but we are in the middle of a high protein fad diet craze. And the science right now is not saying that high protein is the answer, because our bodies are not equipped for high protein like that. Really, Harvard Medical is saying that we should have 0.35 grams of protein per pound. That's far less than what most people are getting. And so when you're adding protein, you're swapping out, you're crowding out the bad. So if that is your choice, then absolutely add that protein, because it is going to fill you up. But I would not then opt for protein powders or protein bars or anything like that, because that's all processed food. So when you want to add fiber or add a food, and almonds are protein, but they also have fiber. So that's why if you're going to add a food, I like the raw almonds or raw nuts, things like that. Even like a half of an avocado, which is fruit, a half of an avocado, which is a tiny bit of cayenne pepper or salt, that is a healthy fat that helps fill you up. It also has protein in it, but I would opt not to do just like a meat protein or a power bar or something like that. Does that make sense? Yeah, 0.35 grams times your body weight. Yes, per pound. So 0.35 per pound. So in other words, for me, I'm like at 110 pounds. I do a low protein diet, so I'm at a 0.33, sometimes a 0.31 to a 0.35 grams of protein per body pound. And I lift weights, you guys. So I'm not lacking in muscle mass. I don't think muscle mass is consumed. Muscle mass is made in the gym. My daughter just came in. It's her bridal shower today. But muscle mass is made in the gym, and there's not a doctor on this planet right now, well, at least in America, that would say, there's a protein deficiency in America, because there's not. We are in a high protein diet fad, and everything has added protein. And yes, protein is better than candy, for sure, but you want to really be aware of the amount of protein that you're eating, because excess protein gets stored where? It gets stored as fat, and usually around our midsection. Even protein, excess protein gets stored here. So you got to be really careful about just throwing protein at everything, right? It's a combination of healthy fats that help to satisfy you, like avocados. And yeah, small amounts of like really lean protein. I tend to kind of steer towards plant-based proteins in terms of like almonds and chickpeas and walnuts and things like that, and small amounts of meat-derived proteins. And very, very rare do I ever add like a pea protein to a smoothie. And very rare these days do I have smoothies anymore because of my understanding of metabolic health. Yes, smoothies are thick and enriched in vitamins. That is true. And smoothies are way better than juicing, because when you're juicing, you're taking all of that fiber out of it, right? Even celery juice, you guys, carrot juice, orange juice, any of those juices that don't have the fiber in them, your body does little to distinguish that between table sugar. Okay, so yes, you have nutrients in there, but when you're taking the fiber out, it's too much for our bodies to absorb. Our pancreas shoots it out as fat, and it gets stored around our midsection. So be very careful when you're choosing how to crowd these things out, that you don't want to opt for a smoothie. You want to opt for like a single ingredient whole food. That's why I go for the nuts or like a half of avocado. It's protein, you've got healthy fats, things like that. So I hope that kind of helps. Was there anything else that I wanted to talk about? You guys, I want you to try the grapefruit, right? If you and make sure you buy organic. If you missed that thing, the live I did on organic and non-organic fruits and vegetables, food can be medicine. It can also be poison. Make sure that you're buying organic on the, at least on the dirty dozen, those 12 foods that you really need to buy organic. But try the grapefruit trick. If you are somebody that craves salt, cut a grapefruit in half. Always have a grapefruit on hand. Squeeze it into a big glass of water. Guzzle that big glass of water, then step away for 15 minutes and see if you're still going to want those potato chips, right? Okay, so for those of you guys just joining, I have 3 giveaways. It's these Fiberline that is my own brand. I'm relaunching my whole supplement line, but you'll just invite your 3 people. When I put this in my main feed, then do that. Okay, I want to make sure that you tag your 3 people there. Sorry, I want to make sure that I have everything. Change your scenery. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I mean, indulging in a healthier version is kind of key too. So like, this is not a healthy version of a snack because it's just chocolate and caramel. There's 0 fiber in here. Okay, so when I have this, because they are my favorite, when I have this, I have this first. I have like my water with my my fiber first, and what it does is I'll have one of these instead of 10. So it does help. It's crowding out the bad, you guys. It's crowding out the bad. Okay, so I think that we're pretty close to done here. You guys, I am going to be here tomorrow. I'll be shooting, I think, in the bathroom. I'm going to do some sort of demo, right? Some sort of skincare demo. Might be a little combination of microneedling because I'm due to microneedle my knees again. So I might do a combination of my knees and a little radio frequency and maybe a little microcurrent on my eyelids. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. I thank you guys so much for being here, and for those that come back every week. It's really very touching that I have an audience here, and I see you guys and I appreciate you guys. And if you're interested in the fiber lean, just DM me fiber or supplements, and I'll shoot you that whole website so you can kind of learn a little bit more. If you want to book a one-on-one session with me, you can DM me consult, and I'll send you that link. And if you want that protocol, which I'm going to be going over a little bit tomorrow, the skincare gadget protocol, you can DM me protocol. Okay, you guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11. Thank you, Tina, for that. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, I appreciate you too. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Okay, bye.